Welcome back to Fullerton College's combined pre-press print 75 and 77F classes. This is your professor, Ben Hewitt, and I'm going through a bit more on InDesign, text controls, and today, or this time, I'm supposing you could be watching them all at the same time, we're going to get into how to manage using the styles menus. And this is one of my very favorite things in InDesign. So previously we imported our text from Project Gutenberg, cool place, check it out. We've laid it out generally together, stringing a series of text boxes to each other so the text flows from one to the next. And now it's about time to start doing the cool stuff. And we changed the typeface to Baskerville, which is the superior font if you want people to believe you and trust you. So here we go. Now that I've done this, there's a couple ways to create a style. First, let's go to Window, Styles, and Paragraph Styles is already open. If I do it again, it goes away. Let's go here, Window Styles, Paragraph Styles. And for today, I might pull this out just so we can see it better, even though normally I leave it in my toolbar nearly always open because I use this a lot. Let's take a look around in here what it looks like for a minute before we start pressing the hamburger menu up there. So down here, it says Basic Paragraph Plus. Just like when you're doing output settings to presses or to create PDFs, the plus doesn't mean better. The plus means with changes. Honestly, I would rather it be an asterisk because that lets you know, oh, it's a basic paragraph, asterisk. If I click down here, in fact, everything in here is going to be a basic paragraph asterisk because basic paragraph is a style. You may not realize it, but when you open up InDesign and you start importing type or just typing, creating text, the copy you put in automatically has the default style of InDesign. So whether or not you know you're using styles, you are using styles. So just a moment here. Let's take a look at what the basic style would actually look like. So I'll show you a thing here, which is jumping a little ahead, but to show you something that's behind. It's all wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, right? So I've selected this. Now, if I go here, I can right click and tell it to apply basic paragraph and clear overrides. Let's see what happens. Boom. Doing that, I'm going to hit return here so we can see it better. You see that it's turned itself into Minion Pro regular at 12 point. That's the default type if you just start typing in a text box when you first open InDesign. So that's the basic paragraph, and basic paragraph plus are the ones we copied in. The text that we brought in from Project Gutenberg brought with it Times New Roman, and the one that I made Baskerville. So first, let's go through the WYSIWYG version before we go to flying by instruments, so to speak. So the WYSIWYG version of how to create these styles is you make something like this, where I've already built a, actually, let's make it a little bit crazier, just so you can see the difference better. So if I take this, instead of doing Baskerville, I can't not be good. We'll do Helvetica. Just make Helvetica because the sans will look very, very distinct against the serifs. So now that I have this, I'm going to go up to the hamburger menus in my paragraph style palette, and I'm going to say new paragraph style. And we're going to call this body text 1, or let's just call it Helvetica, because that way we know. And it's based off what we're in. If you click down here, you can actually see in these menus, the character formats exist, advanced characters of formats exist. You can use indents, spacing, and tabs. You can set this all up. If you know what you're doing by the numbers and you're able to fly by instruments, or perhaps you prefer to call it working by faith instead of by sight, if you're able to work by the numbers and you know what your font is and what size it is, you can do it this way. You can see there are a ton of different possible character possibilities, different settings you can use, but I'm just using the ones based off what I already made. And I say, okay. So this one doesn't have it applied yet, which is funny. I built it based off the type I did. So let's click on Helvetica to make the Helvetica. Now here comes the magic. You guys ready for this? Choose your own favorite magic words. Let's see what we have here. Helvetica. Boom. So if you click anywhere within a paragraph and you click on a new paragraph style, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. There we go. Got it? Got it? Anywhere I click creates what I did. You'll notice down here, it says Helvetica Plus. The plus for this Philadelphia, February 14, 1776. Oh, it was common sense was on Valentine's Day. How sweet. By doing this, because it was already italic, it maintained the italic style even though I applied the paragraph style. Because in my paragraph style, I did not specify that it needed to be italic or not. So I can go through and I can change huge blocks of text with very quick changes. Now, get ready to watch one of the cooler pieces of magic I'll show you in this class and why I really like this stuff. What's something distinctly different from this? That's too hard to read, so I'm not going to use it. Oh my gosh, it's horrible, but it'll prove a point. Black oak. Ugh. Well, partner, looks like you got yourself a pickle. Let's see what we can do here. So I got this whole thing now set up in this really squished, heavy block serif type, which is about as far from Helvetica as you can get, actually, without going completely off the rails into things that should never have been released. So we got this. Now watch this. If I click on Helvetica and I say Redefine Style. In fact, let me pause for a moment to talk about what your options are here. If you have a out of compliance paragraph that has a style applied to it, but then changes are made, you have a choice. This is just like with people in fashion and styles. If you want to think about style as what the clothes people are wearing. I know right now it's all sweatpants and pajamas, except from the waist up to look professional for Zoom. But aside from COVID, fashion works where people follow the rules and conventions of what looks good and what people agree is a good look. And then somebody comes along with a cool new thing that's different. And one of two things can happen. Either you're pulling it off and everybody says, wow, they're so cool, I want to dress like them too. Or people laugh them out of their personality and they say, no, I'm going to go back to normal. And they can say, apply Helvetica. I'm going back. Sorry, I had a weird glitch there on my screen. And you go back and you say, I tried wearing the new red boots, but nobody liked them, so I can't wear them in public anymore. Or if what you did is so cool that people like it, you can redefine style and people will then say, I want to be like you. So if you redefine style, the changes you made in that paragraph, ooh, it's hideous though, go everywhere. The spots that are highlighted in that kind of salmon color there, those spots are because Black Oak Standard has no italics. So it's saying, can't do it. So let's fix this again. Let's go here. Let's just change one word to something better. Now it's time to go to the properly historically correct font, except for the Adobe part. Caslon. Ah. Redefine style. And here you have in a proper 18th century British font that the original would have been printed in. That's great. So I made the body paragraphs all look like something. Now check this out. Let's go fix this introduction thing. I actually like Bebas. Sue me if you must. I'm going to change this to Bebas. I'm going to center it. I'm going to make the text color black. I think underlining is silly. Take that away. There we go. So now this centered all caps type, I'm going to make a new style for that I'm going to call mini header as opposed to full on header. So or chapter break. Something like that, so you know what it is. You can name your styles anything you want, but just like your files, don't name them something you'll never figure out. If you call it Bob, because Bob, a year from now, 2 years from now, if you revisit that project, do you have any chance of ever remembering why you called that paragraph thingy Bob? Call it chapter break. Nope, it didn't quite do the color. So I'm gonna have to, that's a separate style because there's also character styles, which we'll talk about another time. Because there's more than one style that controls this. But that means I can now go through and wherever there's a chapter break, it didn't override, there you go. Clear overrides, that's why. You have to clear overrides in some of these because of the extra styles added to it. So, oops. So chapter break plus, we're going to go to apply chapter break clear overrides. And now all my little chapter headers have their own thing going on. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty much it for this. You'll notice in your project assignment, I've asked you to make more than one version of this pamphlet to turn in. Now you're realizing that it's not as bad as it sounds, because in fact, if you just go through and you change what your different paragraph styles are and redefine them, you'll be able to redo the entire thing very quickly. This is a useful tool for working with indecisive customers, by the way, who are not quite sure what they want. Couldn't you just show me more than one way? If you do it manually, this is going to take your entire life. But if you use styles, you'll be able to make huge global changes to an entire document through a few easy clicks. Lastly, let me give you a plug for my other class, which it's not too late to jump over into if you want to join me in variable data printing. When you are using automated systems to help choose how to create an output, and you are using styles to control how things look, you can have styles tied to a piece of program language so that depending on how something's being used, it will automatically apply the proper style to create a perfect printed piece.